The first act of the play Bravely Fought the Queen, today we will discuss. The first act is also given the title, and the title is The Woman. So in this act, there are four women who plays a major role in the play. Lalita, Dolly, Ba, and Alka. These are the women, and this act is about these women in the play. So, the setting of the play is the living room of Dolly. Living room of Dolly and Jiten Trivedi, and it was in a very posh suburb of Bangalore. So, setting of the play is at Bangalore in the living room of Dolly and Jiten Trivedi. And as the play opens, we are introduced Ba Trivedi. Ba Trivedi is Jiten and Nitin's mother. After the introduction of Ba Trivedi, the play opens with Lalita. Now, Lalita is the wife of Sridhar, and Lalita visited the house of Dolly. Or we can say that her husband Sridhar dropped Lalita at the house of Jiten for the specific purpose. And Lalita is carrying a large bag and shopping bag with her. And she visited to the house of Dolly. So the play starts with the women Dolly and Lalita. And then Lalita said to Dolly that her husband asked to come and meet Dolly. Means husband of Dolly, that is Jiten, asked to meet Dolly. For what? To discuss the ball or to discuss the costumes of the guests in the ball. And when Lalita visited Dolly at that time, Dolly was getting ready to go outside. And Jiten and Nitin promised to their wives that they are going to visit to the Kapoors. But unfortunately, they have the mix-up. Mix-up means what? They do not remember, Jiten and Nitin, they do not remember the visit of Kapoors. Or even we can say that Jiten informed to Dolly that that visit at the house of Kapoor is cancelled. But Dolly forgot that. And because of that, Dolly is getting ready to go where? To go, that is, at the Kapoor's house. Then there is a mix up. Four of them are going to the visit Kapoor's, but there was a mix up. Means there was not a proper communication in between Dolly and Jiten, or we can say that there was not a proper communication in between Lalita, Jiten, and Dolly. And that's why there was a mix up. And because of that, uh, Lalita visited the house of Dolly, and Dolly is getting ready to go to visit Kapoor's. And now Dolly and Lalita having the conversation. And in that conversation, Lalita shares the past memory about meditation. And she says that when she was doing the meditation, that is Shavasana, at the same time, once the neighbor's boy peeped through our window and saw me lying flat on my back in the middle of the room. He thought I was dead or dying or something. He called the watchman. When I opened the door for them, they both thought I was a ghost. What with all that mud on my face and egg on my hair? Means Lalita shared this joke with whom? Shared this joke with Dolly. Means once upon a time, Lalita was getting ready and she has a makeup on her face and she was doing the meditation. At that time, the neighbor's boy peeped through the window and see that Lalita is lying on the flat on the floor, and he thought that she's dead, and that's why he called to whom? He called to watchman. And when Lalita opened the door for the watchman and the neighboring boy, at that time they thought that she's a ghost. So that was a joke, we can say that was a digression and that was a joke. Then Lalita introduces herself that she is the wife of Sridhar, and she comes there for the discussion of what? For discussion of masked ball. So Dolly and Lilith are supposed to discuss the masked ball. Masked ball means what? They have to wear the mask on their face and they can attend to the what we can say that a party or a ball. And that masked ball is the idea of Sridhar, and that's why they wanted to launch a Revati ad campaign, and that's why they arranged this masked ball. So here we can find that Lalita is too much interested about the mask ball or party, but Dolly is not interested in that masked ball or party or that ad campaign, that is Revati ad campaign. So she is not interested. We can say she is not interested in that ad campaign. So what is this party, or what is this costume, or what is this masked ball? The best part of the ball is everyone will be in costumes and will have masks on. Means in the party, all the guests wear the masks and they will appear in the ball or they will appear in the party. So and they will launch Revati. What is this Revati? Revati is a range of color coordinated nightwear and underwear for women. So it is a product. Revati is a product and it is color coordinated nightwear and underwear for women. And that was the ad they planning to do, and that's why they are uh, they wanted to arrange or organize a ball, that is masked ball, and that's why Lalita comes to Dolly's house to discuss the costume. And Dolly is supposed to suggest costumes for all because she has some experience in tailoring. So Dolly is supposed to suggest costumes for all these guests. Why? Because she has a kind of experience of tailoring, and that Dolly is not interested in that. The discussion of Dolly and Lilita shifts to Trivedi's house. So now they the discussion shifts to where? Shifts to the Trivedi's house, and Trivedi has or Trivedis have twin houses. So a big house, twin houses. Twin houses means each house for each brother. One house for Jiten and another house for Nitin. And they got the architect from Bombay to build this house. They got the architect, or they called the architect from Bombay to build this house. And we can say that the house is the twin house. They got the architect from Bombay and they wanted their huge, beautiful house. And that is why this is a twin house side by side. So this house is twin house side by side, one for each brother and two sisters. So means one for Jiten, one for Nitin. It means that one for Dolly and one for Alka. So this is The house. The house with 3 bedrooms. How many bedrooms are there in the house? 3 bedrooms and 2 upstairs and 1 down. Among these 3 bedrooms, there are 2 upstairs and 1 down. And Daksha prefers the downstairs one. Means Daksha wanted to stay in the downstairs bedroom. So this house is the 3 bedrooms house, and it is a very beautiful or huge house, and they, or we can say, stay in that house. After that description of the house in the play introduced the next character, that is Daksha. Who is this Daksha? Daksha is the daughter of Dolly and Jiten. So she is the daughter of Dolly and Jiten, and she goes to school in where? In Uti. And she is not taking the education at Bangalore, but she used to go to the school at Uti. And then Dolly talks about the kitchen and the cooks. So after the discussion on the house, they discussed what? They discuss about Daksha. Daksha is going to school, or Daksha goes to the school at Uti. And then the discussion changes and the discussion comes to kitchen and cooks. And here we can find that Lalita calls her husband and talks about the mix-up of the dates and asks him to come to receive her. So now there is the mix-up of the dates. So Dolly thinks that they are going to visit Kapoor's. That's why she is not interested to talk with Lalita. Even she doesn't have the interest of talking about this costume ball. And Lalita is very eager to discuss that costume ball with whom? With Dolly. But Dolly is not interested. Dolly is interested to visit the Kapoors. Finally, Lalita calls her husband, means Sridhar, and talks about the mix-up of the dates and asks him to come to receive her. And then enters Alka, that is younger sister of Dolly. And she called Sridhar and asked about her husband. Means now all the characters slowly, we can say that, entering in the action. So enters Alka, younger sister of Dolly, and she called Sridhar and she asked about her husband. Her husband means Nitin. She asked about the Nitin. And she plays Naina Devi's Thumri. Naina Devi's Thumri is a kind of music. She plays that music and she is listening that music. Means here we can find 3 women, even 4 women are introduced, or we can say the 5 in the case, that is Daksha is there. So all the women are different, right? So Dolly, Alka, Lalita, and Daksha. Daksha is a daughter, but all the women are different. And look at the title of the act, that is The Woman. Then what happens? Let's discuss the discussion of Lalita and Alka. So now Lalita and Dolly, but now the discussion shifts to Lalita and Alka. Alka is not a traditional woman. So she is not a traditional woman, means typical Indian wife or typical Indian cook. She is not a traditional woman. She drinks wine and she is very bold and she discusses various things with Lalita. And then Lalita also talks about herself. She says that she writes women's column, that is a Times is a newspaper, and in that newspaper she used to write women's column. She reviews cultural events, meditation, and she also grows bonsai plants. She also does creative writing. Means here we can understand that Lalita is very active. She does lot of things, and as compared to Alka and Dolly, Lalita is a proactive character. Lalita don't have a child. Why? Because they are saving the money to buy the flat. So Lalita and Sridhar don't want child, and reason is very interesting. What is the reason? They are saving the money. If they have the baby, they will unable to save the money, and that's why they don't want a baby. Why? Because they want to save the money and they can buy the flat, or they can able to buy the flat. That is their planning. Now Alka and Lalita also drink wine, and Alka calls it as a social drinking, or Lalita and Alka calls it as a social drinking. Means some people drink for enjoyment, some people drink for social standard, some people have different reasons to drink the wine, and Alka and Lalita drink wine together there. And then after that scene, drinking of wine, Alka and Lalita, the discussion shifts to bonsai. So what is this bonsai? Bonsai is a kind of process to alter the growth of plant. Means here we can find that bonsai is a kind of plant. Suppose we want a specific shape of that plant, we want specific design of that plant. So there is a kind of a surgery to that plant, and that plant get that kind of a shape. So who creates or who grows such kind of a bonsai? So Lalita grows such kind of bonsai. So discussion shift to that bonsai, and bonsai is the symbol used by the dramatist Mahesh Dattani. Here, women in India are not growing naturally. How do women grow in India like bonsai? Bonsai means what? There is a control of other people on the growth of women. There is a customs, traditions, and these customs, traditions makes bonsai to the women. So they are unable to grow. Then Alka informs Lalita regarding the cook and went for a holiday. Who went for the holiday? The cook went for holiday. How many days? For 10 days. And now, because of that, they have a temporary cook. And what is the name of that temporary cook? The name of the temporary cook is Kanaya. So Dolly and Alka talks about their outings and party. So they are talking about their outings, party, how they do in their lives. And then Alka informs Dolly that they are not going to Kapoor's because it has been called off. So that was the mix-up. Alka informs Dolly that they are not going to Kapoor's because it has been called off. And it is clear now Lalita and Dolly should discuss that bonsai, that masked ball. Why? Because going to Kapoor's was called off. Finally, Lalita discusses regarding the ball and costumes with whom? With Dolly. And what they discussed about costumes and balls. So Lalita gives a small present to Dolly, and that is a bonsai. Bonsai is a plant, right? She gives that plant, you can say the controlled growth plant. So controlled growth plant is given to whom? Given to Dolly by Lalita. And it is quite an unusual present. Why unusual? Because it is like Dolly. It is like bonsai is like Dolly. Bonsai is like Lalita, or bonsai is like Alka. How? Because Alka, Lalita, or even Dolly, all these three characters are not growing as they want. There is a control. Control of whom? Control of society. So here also, bonsai is controlled growth plant. It is a controlled, and that is not growing naturally, and that is why it is unusual present. And then they discuss the costume at the ball, and what will be the costume of the ball. So costume of the ball is like this. How? The metas will come as the costume of banjara. The Shahas will come as the costume of astronauts. The Bedis will come as Layla and Majnu. The Mendans come as Hansel and Gretel. And Mr. Kashikar will become Shivaji or Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And that will become as Raj Kapoor and Nargis. So these were the guests. They will come in the costume or masked ball, and they will come in that particular masks on their face. So it was the discussion done by Lalita and Dolly. After the discussion shifts to Praful. Who is the Praful? Praful is the brother of Dolly and Alka. And what the discussion is? The discussion is that Praful is not visiting Trivedi's house frequently. It is also that Praful is a close friend of Nitin. Means Nitin and Praful are the close friend, and Nitin is the close friend of Praful from the college. So they both have different relations, and this relationship in the play is also meaningful to understand the play. See, what is this relationship? I just explain here, then you can understand the play in a better way. So Nitin and Praful have the relationship, means they both like each other. Nitin is a gay, or we can say Praful and Nitin are the gays, and they don't want to get married, or they don't want to marry with women. But for the sake of security, Praful arranged his sister's marriage, means marriage of whom? Marriage of Alka to Nitin, for the sake of security. And that is a kind of reference we should remember when we read the play. When Alka was a child, at that time, Praful burns Alka's hair. And Alka says that still I can smell my hair. So that is, we can say. Then discussion shifts to Kanhaiya Lal. Who was Kanhaiya Lal? A temporary cook, 19 years old temporary cook. And he is also the grandson of Toothless Cook's friend. Toothless Cook was the permanent cook at the house of Trivedi, but now Toothless Cook went on the holiday for 10 days, and now he sent his friend's grandson at the Trivedis, and he is a very young boy, just 19 years old. And here we can find that there is a, there is a kind of relationship in between Dolly and Kanhaiya. So here we can understand, students, Dolly and Kanhaiya have a relationship. Nitin and Praful have a relationship, means the marriages in the play are unsuccessful marriages. The marriage of Dolly and Jiten is not successful. Why? Because Dolly is not happy with Jiten, or Jiten is not happy with Dolly. And here another marriage, the marriage of Nitin and Alka, is also failed. Why failed? Because Alka wanted the company of her husband, but here Nitin is not interested. Why? Because he is a gay. He is interested in a man. He is interested in Praful, not in Alka, and that's why he does not give any time to Alka. So this marriage is also failed. And then we can find that another pair, that is Dolly. Dolly knew that her husband does not pay any attention towards her. That is why she is interested in Kanhaiya. So the cook. So all the marriages in this act are failed, or they does not have any success in the play. So then Alka listening the music, that is music of a Thumri, that is Naina Devi's Thumri, Who is this Naina Devi? The queen of Thumri. And this act 1 ends with the secret meeting of Dolly and Kanaya and Alka's song Thumri. So Dolly and Kanaya means cook and Dolly, they secretly meet and Alka is listening the song that is a Thumri. So this act ends with that particular uh, incident, that Dolly and Kannaya's meeting, and we can find that the song of Thumri. So I hope you understand this act. If you have any query, you can ask now. This second act is also entitled The Main. Now this act shifts to the office of Jiten and Nitin Trivedi. Jiten and Nitin Trivedi have an advertising agency. And in that advertising agency, this advertising agency is at Grant Road. And this scene is the action of the scene take place at that place, that is the office of Jiten and Nitin. So scene starts with Nitin and Jiten are going through the accounts, means they are checking the accounts, they are verifying the accounts. And here we can find that Nitin and Jiten, they want to verify the account before Sridhar arrives. Why? Because they want to verify that Revati account, and they discuss the model of the Revati, and they discuss about their advertising agency. They discuss about the model Revati. They discuss about the accounts, and then talks about the finance before Sridhar arrive. Means they want to discuss about regarding the finance in account before Sridhar arrives there. Means Sridhar is going to come to the office and they want to take a loan. Means Jitin and Nitin want to take a loan, and they already took loan from banks and finance corporations. Means they are in debt and they are taking the loans, but they are unable to repay these loans, and that's why they want to take the loan. The money lender, name of the money lender is Nichani. Nichani is ready to give loan, but rate of interest is very high. And how much this is? The rate of interest is 36%. So Nichani is ready to give loan, but rate of interest is 36%. 36%. So it is very high. And another reason is that Nichani also wants the partnership in the business. So Nichani is ready to give the loan to Nitin and Jiten, but the interest rate is very high, as well as he demands the partnership in the business. That's why they dropped the idea to take the loan from Nichani. Finally, they decided to take loan from Praful. Okay. Finally, they decided to take loan from Praful, and Praful is ready to give the loan without any condition. And how much they asked? So they wanted to discuss about regarding the loan, and Nitin promised Praful to meet him at hotel. See now, Nitin and Praful, they both are gay and they are meeting in the hotel. So means what? Nitin and Jiten initially want 10 lakh, but decided to take 12 lakhs as they can circulate the extra 2 lakhs on interest. See now, they are borrowing the money from whom? Borrowing the money from Praful. They have the need of 10 lakh rupees, but they wanted to take 12 lakhs. Why? Because they will circulate that extra 2 lakhs on interest. So it is unusual idea of Nitin and Jitin. We can understand that how Jitin and Nitin are taking the advantage of Praful. Then what happens? At that time, Sridhar arrives there in the office and he is late. Why? Because he has to drop Lalita at the Dolly's house. And now there is the mix-up is clear. And what is the mix-up? the mix-up of date, and nobody is going anywhere. Means Jiten says that nobody is going anywhere, means they are going to discuss Revati account, and Dolly and Lalita will discuss about the masked ball. So nobody is going to anywhere, and the mix-up is clear. Then Sheen shifts to Lalita and Ba. Ba informs Nitin is afraid of going out in the dark and afraid to sleep in the dark, afraid of his father. Jiten wants to see cinema and eat ice cream. So here we can understand the Jiten and Nitin. Shin shifts to Lalita and Ba says to Lalita that Nitin is afraid of going out in the dark. He is also afraid to sleep in the dark. He is afraid to his father. And Jiten wants to see cinema and eat ice cream. Means here we can understand Jiten and Nitin clearly. Scene again shifts to office, and Sridhar informs the brothers that he met the director, that is the campaign that they wanted to run, that is Revati campaign, and that's why he made to Menon. He made to Menon, but Menon is not ready to that particular advertisement, and director is negative regarding the advertisement. They found the concept odd and offensive. Why he is negative? Because the director found the concept odd and offensive, and that's why they are not ready to run that campaign. They talk about the consumer survey and the product. Means Nitin, Jiten, and Sridhar. They talk about the consumer survey and the product. And here, very interestingly, Nitin says that who are the buyers? Women. No, women are not buyers. Men are the buyers. Men buy the things for women, and that is why who is our customer? Who is our consumer? Not the women, but the men. But Sridhar is not agree with that, and Sridhar has different idea, and that idea is that we should go by the consumer survey, and that consumer survey says that this is very the concept is very offensive. So Sridhar is not ready with that. Finally, Nitin and Jitin want to sell their old house, and this old house is market price. What is the market price of that old house? 1.5 crore. That is the today's market price for that house. And they wanted to sell that house, but unfortunately, this old house belongs to Daksha. So they can't sell that house without the consent of Daksha. So then the same act, Ba is blessed with two sons. Dolly has been blessed with because she has Daksha, but Alka has been cursed because she don't have child. Why is successful woman? Why? Because she has two sons. Dolly is quite successful. Why? Because she has Daksha. But Alka is cursed. Why? Because she don't have child. In India, to give the birth to child, it is considered that it is the responsibility of woman. And that's why if she does not give birth to a child, she is cursed. So finally, Sridhar and Nitin and Jitin sum things up with another survey of male consumer because they have the purchasing power. Jitin wants a whore. Initially, Sridhar refused but accepts to bring whore for Jitin to secure his job. And this act also ends with Nitin's confession regarding his marriage. Means Nitin got married to Alka not for the sake of marriage, but for the security of his relationship with Praful. So this act is also ends with the things, and the act 3, that is free for all, we will discuss tomorrow. So the students, there is just 1 minute. If you have any problem, if you have any query regarding the play,